Hello, everyone. This is Simple Online Big Blue bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. Today is going to be interesting because ketosis is kicking in now into day 3 or 4. I don't know. There are no hamburgers. Well, there are hamburgers, but there are no buns. There are no French fries. There are no pancakes. There are nothing but Giants news and the Brooklyn Hit Squad. Hello, Mr. Hit Squad. How are you doing?
First of all, that sounds very scary. I salute you for doing that because I know my ass could not do that at all. I'm doing good. I hope you're doing good. I hope that
No.
keto diet is helping you.
Well, I'm helping my wife. My wife wanted to do it, so of course I'm supporting her and doing it along with her. Well, but then we'll just leave it at that right now. We are going to do something totally different today. I am going to let Mr. Hit Squad take over the show and let him run it. I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to be a guest. Wow. Hello, Mr. Hit Squad. Thank you for having me on again today.
Oh, not a problem. Thank you for cutting out time of your busy schedule to come to the show.
It's been very busy.
I can imagine. Man, the news we got today in regards to Sam Beal, wasn't expecting it, didn't see it coming. I figured we would have at least maybe 1 or 2 more players opt out, but in my honest opinion, I thought these would be players I wasn't expected to really make the team too much or really have that much of an impact.
Right.
But with the Deandre situation and him kind of being up in the air, we don't know if he's even going to be on the team.
Can I say one thing about DeAndre Baker?
Yeah.
And I would like to go on the record right now. I think he's 100% innocent. I think he's being framed. I think it's either by Bigfoot or aliens. I think everything he has said in the past has been 100% correct. We need to free DeAndre and get him back on the roster.
I agree with you. I agree with you. And look, anybody watching this video, call the courthouse, say you saw something, and make sure we can get this man innocent. Cause
that's right.
We're in trouble right now.
I don't think we're in trouble, but it's going to be more difficult. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, with that being up in the air, I really, and I know you did as well, expected Sam Beal or at the worst, Corey Ballentine to take that next step in that cornback position.
I thought Sam Beal was going to start, to be honest, just because. But go ahead.
No, I mean, because I'm in the same boat. I figured at a worst case, Corey Ballentine, but I would put my money more on Sam Beal because I think that he's a fair player. But with him opting out, it really draws up the question: what are the Giants going to do now? I mean, we have a little bit of extra money. We have, we have some nice corners on the cornerback market, but really the only one that jumps out is Logan Ryan. So my question to you is: would you, let's say, how would Dave Gettleman say it, groom these puppies, or would you go out and spend a little bit of money on a position of need?
Well, right now, I would not spend any money. We picked up an additional amount of cap space from the Solder deal, not the space we had initially, but we've been given more space via the cap because of the fact of his prorated bonus. So I think that's like another $3-4 million on top of what we were saving already. But my thing is, at this juncture, we still have – everyone seems to forget about my buddy Julian Love. Julian Love was a starting slot corner. Julian Love, he's not on the huge side, but I think he could slide into either a third DB position or, maybe even go into the starting lineup. We have to give him some credit. And Corey, I don't think is ever going to be a full-time starter, but I think he could be a good third defensive back. And I don't mean third defensive back as a slot back. I mean a third defensive back on the roster. And like I said, we're going to maybe have to trust Holmes in the slot. I would like to see us go out and kind of comb the waiver wire to find some depth at the cornerback position. But beyond that, my biggest concern is we don't know how the season's going to go, how much it's going to progress. If worst case scenario, the revenue goes down substantially, like it might, we might only have a cap of 175. at 195 in 2021, we're only 7 million under the cap. Oh, yeah, 7 million under the cap. And if you cut Solder, we're still going to incur a hefty cap fee. I mean, cap penalty. So anyone that we
Correct. Yeah.
sign is going to have to be on a 1-year agreement, or have to be with the understanding that we're going to have to clear cap space in 2021 just to keep someone on the roster. So, I mean, would I like to go out and get a Logan Ryan, or go out and get Mr. Clowney, or something like that? Sure, because it's just one of those things that you either have to one or the other. You have to have a decent pass rush, and if you have a good pass rush, you can have an okay secondary. If you have a bad pass rush, you better have a lights out secondary, and that's kind of the problem. Right now,
No,
I
I
don't know
agree.
what we have in the secondary in that second spot, and without knowing what we have at the rush beyond Marcus Golden, it's going to be interesting. But Dave Gettleman needs to be smart with the cap space, and he needs to just tuck it away into 2021 and hope the young pups can do something.
Yeah, I mean, you and I are pretty much on the same page. And I think a lot of people forget that Julian Love wasn't too bad in the slot. At least I don't think he was.
No, he was the starting slot quarterback in Notre Dame. I mean,
Nostradamus.
I know Notre Dame is a very small school. I don't think too many people have heard of it outside Rudy Rudiger. But like I said, yeah, most people don't know that. He can play. He only filled in at safety out of need. He that's not his
Yeah.
natural position. He could slide back into his natural position, and potentially he's a smart enough guy, roll out into the to the second corner.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was thinking about it personally. I think a lot of people also forget that while we did draft Darnay Holmes to play the slot, he did play on the outside in college.
Yeah.
And he wasn't terrible on the outside, but at least he has that experience. And I know a lot of people, including myself, I get on Corey Ballentine, but just I think it's a big difference when you put a slot corner in the slot corner position as opposed to on the outside. I think he'll do better on the outside than he would in the slot. He's not that fast of a receiver. I think you got to be a little bit faster than what we saw from him to play the slot. You saw what Chicago did. They just put their best receiver in the slot, knowing that he can't catch up with them. He's not going to be able to put hands on them.
Well, the thing about
compared to the outside.
The thing about the slot that most people seem to neglect is when you're going up against a slot receiver, more than likely, in the old terms in the 80s, that's your scat back. That's your guy that's going to have the quickness. That's your guy that's going to have the burst off the line. So your slot corner has to mirror that position. So it makes sense that the attributes are also mirroring the attributes of what's on the other side. And Holmes does have quickness. I mean, does he have great straight line speed? No, he's above average. And I laugh because I got into an argument with a subscriber when I said that 4.35 was above average speed. And they're like, well, that's blazing fast. I'm like, no, 4.2 is blazing fast. I say, you can go look it up. There's 3 speeds basically in the NFL. You have average, above average, and, fast. So, I mean, you don't have to be fast to be in the corner, but you have slot corner, but you need to be quick. And sometimes that can transition to the outside, that if you're at least quick off the line with the guy, hopefully he's not going to run a fly or a deep route and you're going to be lagging behind, but you should be good with him for the first 15, 20 yards.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you 100%. I just kind of saw it as, I wouldn't be surprised if they put Julian Love back in his natural position because he did play safety out of need. And we addressed the safety position by, obviously drafting Xavier McKinney, but we did get Nate Ebner from New England as well. I know we're expecting him more on the special teams, but
yeah, I don't see him contributing anything in the middle of the field. Outside of special teams, I don't see him contributing anything between the 20s.
No, I don't either. But just seeing it as putting Julian Love on the slot and possibly putting Darnay Holmes on the outside just for one season, I don't think that would be detrimental, to Darnay Holmes' growth or Julian Love's growth. I personally don't.
No, I don't think so at all.
But if I were to really sit down and just look at the roster, I mean, I can't say I'm all too confident with the depth that we have in that position. I think the Deandre thing obviously definitely hurt us in a sense of now it's either we pull the trigger in free agency or we really just go with what we have. And hopefully we could draw up a scheme that can help these players. I know that Joe Judge is very, don't tell me what you can't do, tell me what you can do, and we'll work with that. Well, some unproven talent, but we hope that these players can be above average, at least, in my honest opinion. I'm not too worried about James Bradbury. I watched a couple games for Carolina last year, actually throughout the year since Norman left, and he's a solid player. I'm not worried about him at all. I'm not if he's been able to hold his own, not really requiring double coverage with Julio or Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
We don't have any of those in this division. The best receiver besides Zach Ertz that you can make the argument for would maybe be Amari Cooper.
I don't even.
That's what I'm
see
saying.
that.
I mean, I'm not. I want to wait on Darius Slayton. I want to wait on Terry McLaurin. I think that those two players can be really good and actually cut themselves out within this division. But just I'm looking at Philly, and it's like at least on the offensive side, I'm only worried about Zach Ertz. And when I look at Dallas, they have a bunch of options, but I really see Dak going more to Amari than he would to Michael Gallup or CeeDee Lamb, because I think that Amari might be, unless CeeDee proves otherwise, that's their best receiver.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you, actually, I think it's very slim. Very funny. Before a quick little side note, I was driving back and I got the notification about Sam Beal. And about 20 minutes after I got the notification while I was driving, a subscriber of mine had emailed me this question, and it made me think. I think it's very slim, slim to none actually. But when you think about it, it does make sense. And you said this earlier. You having a solid edge rush or a solid front really does help your secondary. I believe so. I think you can have a decent secondary, but have a really good front, and it's going to make your secondary look a lot better because the quarterback's not going to have enough time to get that ball out. Do you think it's possible that I'm not going to say they're going to go trade for Yannick. I've been hopped off that boat. I think everybody else should.
But we wouldn't even have the cap space to go after Yannick.
We wouldn't. Nope. But do you see them possibly getting an edge rush as, the only real corner on the market that would be even worth going out for would be Logan Ryan? We don't know his asking price. I think there's a reason why he's on the market.
My thing is this: no, I don't even think there's a snowball chance in hell that Gettleman's gonna spend any of that money. I think the smartest thing to do, and I don't know if they would do it, I don't know if Patrick would do it, but I think the smartest thing to do would be to go. I know he wants to run a 3-4 hybrid, but go back to a 4-3 hybrid. Put your two big guys in the middle of the field, and Talvin Tomlinson and Dexter Lawrence. Have Marcus Golden and Leonard Williams on the edges, and then you have your strength in your front seven and your linebacking core with hopefully Connolly and Blake, and then you're only going to need to fill that other third spot with Lorenzo Carter. So your front seven is pretty strong then. You have a lot of diversified talent, and then hope that you can generate a rush using a 4-3. Now, James Patrick loves to blitz, and he loves to blitz his corners. I think he blitzes corners like some ridiculous amount, like 43% of the times on third down. It's like I said, it reminds me of Spags with R.W. McQuarters, when he used to bring McQuarters in all the time. And the same thing that he did kind of with a couple other players. But my thing is just this: you need to figure out a way to generate a rush. We're not going to spend the money to go out and get a free agent. There are a couple guys available, but like I said, I think if you make an adjustment, the problem with the Giants is we have a lot of weird talent. We have a lot of people that are talented in one regards, but not talented in another. And like I said before, we're going to kind of have a defensive opportunity, and it's going to be allowing people the opportunity to play when their talents fit. And that's kind of where we're at. But like I said, I can't see Gettleman at this juncture going out and spending that cap space. I think he's just going to bank it into 2021. We got the Barkley contract coming up. people forget a year after the Barkley contract expires, we got the Jones contract coming up. So we need to not only play the short game for the 2020 season, but we got to play the long game for Barkley and Jones's entire career.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think outside, even if you don't look at Saquon or Daniel Jones, there is a possibility that they would extend Jabril Peppers or Evan Ingram. I hope they extend Evan Ingram, but
Yeah.
those are players you got to think about they extend too.
Yeah.
We have a lot of players coming up with contracts. Dalvin
Well,
Tomlinson.
2022, we have a lot of cap space. So Ingram and
How much would you
Peppers signed
say?
their fifth-year option. So this is year 4. So they would play out 2021. And 2022, we have like 85 million in contract space. So it's some ridiculous number. But my concern is we need to worry about not, like I said, once we get past 2021, that's when we start needing to panic, because then we got Barkley if he's not up to before then, and then you got Jones a year after.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if, though it's coming up would be his 4th year after the season, I wouldn't be surprised if he's asking for it within that year. I think we've seen that trend with these players. You saw it with Todd Gurley, you saw it with Ezekiel Elliott. They still have time on their contracts and they want that guarantee, and I get it. I respect it. So I do see that aspect.
One thing that worries me about Barkley, though, is he's exceptionally smart. And I know that shouldn't sound like a reason to worry, but he may just wait and see how the Giants progress, because in his 4th year, I think he's going to be like the 6th highest paid running back or something like that. He may wait and see how the Giants progress in his year 4 or 5, and he could pull an Odell and seek a trade.
It's possible. I don't, but then I didn't see that with Odell either.
That's what I'm saying.
I was gonna say I don't know if I could see that. He just seems like a down to earth person. I honestly, when I look at Saquon, I know he's gonna get the money that he wants. But I think that he seems like a reasonable player. Like, I don't think that
he's never lost. He's never lost anywhere he went.
That's true. And
Could he sit there for 4 or 5 years and have more losing seasons? I mean, could he be a Barry Sanders who doesn't really sniff the playoffs till the end of his career, towards the end of his career,
and retire early,
or any playoff success? I mean, he could look at that and say, I don't want to be a Detroit Lion where I'm one and done every 3-4 years and then have a losing seasons after, in between.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I mean, and to just kind of bring it back, I looked at that email and I was like, I think that would be kind of foolish to go out and spend that money on a player right now. To be honest with you, because I'm looking at this season, you look at all the players that have been opting out. We've had a big name on our team when they sold, they're opting out. It kind of hurts me to say this. It's not that I don't think that these players are taking this season as seriously as they would have if COVID didn't happen. But obviously these players are worried about their health. These players are worried about their families,
and their whole family situations and everything else. It's not like the NBA where we got these guys in a bubble, and then if you leave the bubble, you have to be quarantined for 14 days. I mean, I know the NFL couldn't do that, but the NBA, if you think about it, they went with the best model. Quarantine, daily checks, keep everyone in the bubble, and then then finish out the season that way. But like I said, the NFL, you can't really do that. And there's such close contact, of course, in the NFL that you got guys laying on top of each other. So I mean,
it's strange.
I think some people are in training camp thinking that there isn't going to be a season or there's going to be a shortened season.
I think so too. And even speaking on the bubble, my sister actually works at the hotel where one of the hotels where the bubble is going to be is at currently. And some of the stuff that she tells me that they have to do as workers, is insane. They have to take tests every single day, just like these players.
Crazy.
And the restrictions that they have on these players for a sport that's really not that much contact. It really makes me question, how is the NFL going to perceive this one?
Well, there's a lot of contact in basketball.
But not as much as football.
You get down in the post, Well, you see, the thing with the football is it's a minute of waiting for 4 seconds of an explosion. Basketball is a continuity game. It's always flowing. You're always going. You're always trying to guard someone. You really are. You really are pressing against people, especially in the post. I mean,
Mhm.
I could see the difficulties just trying to keep the virus at bay with basketball as well. But to your point, you're right. Basketball. Basketball is not football. Football, you are all over each other and breathing on each other.
Yeah.
An inch
Just
away from
think
someone's
about
face.
just think about take the receivers out, take tackling out of the sport. You still have the men in the trenches.
Yep.
You still have these players that are breathing on top of each other. The running backs got to run through these linemen. They're taking hits. The receivers are taking hits. Quarterback. So it really just kind of makes you think, how's the NFL to make this work? I know that we spoke about this before, the mask that they released. They've been updating it. Um, who knows? I hope it works. I want to see it just as much as the next person. But when you start seeing all of these players start opting out, and I know that they've changed the opt-out date a couple times.
Well, it's supposed to be Thursday now, right?
I believe, but I wouldn't be surprised if they changed it again. To be honest with you, I really wouldn't be surprised.
Well,
You know,
I am making this assessment to anyone watching now and this commitment. If they cancel the season, I will play Brooklyn Hit Squad every game on Madden against letting him be the New York Giants, and I will beat every other team. And we will finish the season out no matter what happens. Now,
honestly, I think that's a very good deal.
You own a Sega Genesis, right? Because I only have Madden 92.
Oh my goodness, we're gonna.
That's a joke because I'm old.
Well, regardless, we're gonna have to get you updated. I don't think that's a bad idea at all. I think you lose every game because your boy is really good at Madden. But that's
I don't want to break the news to you. I got an Xbox One X and a PlayStation Elite, so I mean PlayStation 4. And EA Sports used to be in Maitland, Florida, which was 6 miles from my house, and I was a Madden game tester. Of course, it was back in the early 2000s, but I was a Madden game tester.
Okay. Well, we'll let the people decide, and we'll see if we could work something out.
I like that idea, but like I said, well, that'll be if the season doesn't start.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I just really wanted to get your thoughts on it because I don't expect. Hopefully, well, I'm gonna stick with what I genuinely feel. I don't expect another player on the Giants to opt out. I think at this point, if the deadline is Thursday, I think Sam Beal would be the last player to opt out on the team. But I think honestly, we should be a little. It sucks that he opted out, but we should be thankful it wasn't really a player of impact like a Saquon or like a Sterling Shepard,
right?
Another player on the line. Then we'd be having some different conversations.
We'd be having some different discussions.
Absolutely.
Well, what I'm going to do right here is we're going to wrap this show up quick today because I got a crap load of stuff to do. And again, this is good with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants talking entertainment. And as always, wait a minute. No, this is your show. I'm going to give me the last thought before we wrap this up. And then I will let you have your last thought. So since I am the guest today, my last thought of the day to wrap up the show is the NFL 2020 season. Is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? My last thought is I honestly don't think it's going to happen now, to be perfectly honest. If I had to lay a bet down, I would say it's maybe 3-1 that it's gonna go off without a hitch. Does that mean it's going to be completely canceled? No, I think it might be delayed. I think it may be pushed back a little bit. I think they may make some changes. I think they may go flag football. Maybe they go the arena route. I don't know. But just seeing what I'm seeing, hearing what I'm hearing, I have a feeling we may not be seeing football in September and October. But that is just my final thought, and I'm going to kick it over to the Brooklyn Hit Squad.
I can't lie, that final thought hurt a little bit, but reality can be a bitch sometimes. Excuse my language.
No.
But my final thought is, guys, I don't see them really going out and addressing the cornerback position in the free agent market. Like Online Big Blue said, I think they're really just going to keep that money, look into the players that they have coming up next year, and just use that money next year. And that's really all we can do. We have to see what's going to happen, but we have some unproven talent on this team. We can move some players around, like we said in this video. You look at Darnay Holmes, bring Julian Love back down, convert to a 4-3 again. The Giants have some things they got to figure out on this team, on the defensive side. And we just really have to wait and see. That's all I got to say.
Well, I think you forgot I'm all-knowing and omnipotent after I called the Leonard Williams faking the hamstring injury. I would like to thank the people that sent me emails and messages saying, oh, my God, you said that was going to happen. How did you know that? Who did you talk to? I was just joking when I said it the first time.
You spoke it into existence.
I didn't, exactly. That's what my wife said. I didn't know it was going to happen. I had no inside scoop that it was going to happen. I appreciate that people think I got that much pull, but I had no clue. I'm just coming clean, and I tell everyone I had no idea it was going to happen. It was a joke when I said it months ago, but maybe I wasn't joking. That's all I'm going to say about that. And again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best of New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And as always, if you could like, if you could subscribe, if you could ring that bell, I think you know what that means. That would be
awesome.
There you go. Thanks a lot, Brooklyn Hit Squad.
No problem, man. Thank you.